Welcome back, everybody, to episode 6 of Glaze Game Gestures. And to answer your question, yes, this is a Rocco's Modern Life hat. I got it at the $5 store down the street from me. Anyway, I'd like to discuss the Sega Dreamcast, and let's just jump right into it. The controller. This is either a beloved or hated piece of equipment that is attached to the system itself. The joystick I actually kind of like. I like the little ridges and the braille little bumps on there. It kind of gives it character, and I feel like it flows and feels, it just feels really well. I really like it. And I even like the AX and B and Y. I like the colors. The D-pad, I like that it's, you know, relatively inverted. It's convex, and it feels right. It's weird, but I feel like just the controller itself, the layout, the funky little angled legs, and then the fact that the wire is down here, I feel like, granted, I know that the memory card goes up here, but they should have like attached the wire like over here or up here or something, because the fact that it's down here, you know, and then your fingers are down here, kind of, I feel like it's in the way. And it's kind of odd to me that they only have just the start button, and the start button's a triangle. I mean, interesting, I suppose, but all right. The Dreamcast logo, super cool. I mean, it was originally going to be called the Sega Katana. It would have been kind of hard to put like a little tiny sword, I think, up there, but Dreamcast is still a super cool name. I mean, it's Sega's last console, you know. Rest in peace, right? Sega. I mean, granted, they obviously publish and distribute what games they have to other, you know, systems and go from there. But as far as consoles themselves, this is the last one. I have a memory card in here. I got it from a retro gaming store. I think it was like 10 bucks. There was this thing holds a bunch of different storage too, because there's clearly different numbers on the back for different file slots. And I was amazed that it actually holds that much information. And it's cool that there's 2 different slots too, you know, and there's obviously that memory card that everyone remembers that has the little screen. I don't have that one. I should get that one, although the game that I have as of right now isn't compatible necessarily with that little mini game that you can pull out and play. And it was just a really cool idea. I think it was at the time when maybe like Gigapets kind of came out, so everyone was like, oh, we have to do this, you know, this little black and green kind of Game Boy looking 4 to 8-bit looking kind of mini game within the game. But anyway, the L&R worked well. I have no complaints there. It kind of grew on me. It's weird. You look at it at first, and I think what got me annoyed was I was like, wow, this thing's huge. I remember the N64 being big as well, like the memory card of the Rumble Pack for Star Fox, but you know, I think I got it online for like 25 bucks. These controllers still go for a pretty penny. And it's interesting to see that it says made in Indonesia rather than like Japan or China. But, you know, it plays well. I have no complaints. It works, you know. And it's an interesting kind of a controller port too. I've never seen this on any other console except for the Sega Dreamcast. But anyway, let me get to the console itself, and then I will show the game that I have. Now, when I saw this online for 30 bucks on OfferUp, I was like, I've never had one. I remember having a buddy who had one, and he had the House of the Dead 2 and the guns, and I remember playing an arcade port in his house, and I was like, this is amazing, especially at the time. Like, it was so cool to see that. You know, there's a little yellowing on top, and but it is what it is. It still functions the way that it should. It has the ventilation and the aluminum vent ports on the bottom, and I know that mine is a May of 2000, so therefore I can burn the discs online and play burnt discs, because the games alone themselves are pretty pricey nowadays, and that's why I only have one game, and I'll get to that shortly at the moment. But yeah, you know, there's a little, like I said, discoloration. There's little scuffs here and there. I cleaned it with a wipe, and it works fine for me. It's so cool seeing, like, it's almost like a fin, like, you know, on the back of like a car, like a spoiler. It's kind of like Sega knew that this thing was going to be cool, especially if it was going to be their last console. The AC right here, the the power supply is actually the same as the PS1 and the PS2. So same thing, if you have those cords and you pick one of these up and you want to see if it works, you can always test it here. It works just fine. The AV out is different though than the PS1 and the PS2. This is also one of the first consoles that was also able to go online, because here's an Ethernet cable port right here. Anyway, the light turns a orangish yellow when it's on. It opens up. I was surprised to see that everything was relatively intact. It's still a blue laser. Everything's fine. Like I said, it works, no problem. Although the Tomb Raider Revelations game that I had did not work for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. I cleaned it multiple different times. I cleaned inside here as best as I could, you know, but it is what it is. although I did keep the other Tomb Raider game, Tomb Raider Chronicles. And I remember having, as a kid, Tomb Raider on the PC, and I was blown away by the graphics, but the controls are just not, I mean, I suppose they did what they could, you know? And it plays well for what it is, you know? I mean, the guns are kind of awkward to shoot, but it works. And it's just the jumping mechanism, like the side jumps, the back jumps, and then the fact that, you know, you only have one analog stick, so she moves real stiffly. I mean, hey, I'm glad that I have it. I'm not trying to, you know, necessarily be on my high horse and complain, but it plays, it works, and I'm happy that I have this game, because I want to get, you know, Grandia 2, Skies of Arcadia, as well as Power Stone 1 and 2. It's just they're kind of up there in price, and once I possibly figure out how to use image burn and, you know, get a proper CDI file, then perhaps I can download and burn some games. But you know, it's always cool to have the original hardware as well. Absolutely. But by all means, if anybody wants to download ROMs and play games, more power to you. The fact that you're playing the game, I think, speaks soundly the fact that you're a gamer. You want to play and experience these games any way you can, which I understand, especially if it saves you money. Anyway, looks relatively similar on the surface to like a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2 game, although the bottom is a little different. There's kind of like an outer circle as well as an inner circle, and for its age, I'm very happy and impressed that this Dreamcast game is in such great relative shape, you know? I think it was kind of cool, the little advertisement inside as well. Kind of reminds me of Linda Hamilton from Terminator 1 right here, I thought. But anyway, as well as Terminator 2, Sarah Connor. Anyway. But yeah, really cool system. There's a little more weight to this than I think a PS1 case, you know. And I bought it online, I think on eBay, and yeah, it's a little cracked here. I didn't care. It was like, you know, $18 compared to most Dreamcast games, which are usually like $40, $50 and up. And I'm like, I'm not paying that right at the moment. But cool console. Like I said, there's a lot of weight. I like the color, you know. I was really surprised when I picked this little thing up. I was like, wow, this thing's heavy. But I think they did it right here for most small consoles. They have different rubbered attachments here on the bottom, like, and it won't really move compared to, like, I feel like other consoles with wear and tear over age, they will tend to move. And, you know, there's an adapter port on the bottom for the Ethernet cable. It's just, it's a cool, you know, homage to Sega and their legacy. Like, it's so cool that, you know, the front, even the Sega logo, we all know that. Come on, it's a great iconic logo. And the fact that it says, you know, compatible with Windows CE, like they knew they were trying to go places. It was ahead of its time. I like how sleek and small it is. It was a very powerful system for its time, and you know, they went the extra mile. And unfortunately, this is all that I have at the moment for the Sega Dreamcast: the console, the controller, and the one game at the moment. Because finding games in the wild for the Dreamcast is incredibly difficult. Going to retro gaming stores, like I said, they have them, but I'm like, I'm not giving you that. So, you know, down the road, I intend to collect more of Dreamcast and learn more as much as I can as possible. But thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for the support again.